Hello everybody, Dan Hellman here from H3 and welcome to this edition of the H3 Happenings featured video. Now I would like to stay in alignment with the theme of this week's H3 Happenings newsletter, and that is musicians are athletes. What I would like to show you today is a stretch for a muscle called the Pronator Quadratus. Now the Pronator Quadratus is a small muscle that sits at the base of the wrist. It's square in orientation and it attaches the radius to the ulna. Now I'm choosing this particular muscle for a couple reasons. The first reason is that this muscle, when tight, can mimic the symptoms of a carpal tunnel syndrome, and I personally know a lot of people that have had carpal tunnel surgery and that never solved the problem. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that a lot of musicians tend to spend a lot of time with their wrists in a pronated position. And when that happens, this muscle, the Pronator Quadratus, tends to become tight. Now, I don't usually like to show a lot of stretches and exercises on video because there's a lot of little missed things that happen that make the stretch very effective. But this is a simple stretch, and I think this will benefit many musicians and people that experience strange sensations into their hand mimicking carpal tunnel syndrome. Now, there's many other stretches that can be performed, but again, for this particular episode of this newsletter, I chose the Pronator Quadratus. Now, to do this stretch, sit nice and tall, and first of all, if I want to do supination, that's like I want to hold a cup of soup. So turning the palm up. Pronation is turning the palm down. So if I'm going to stretch my right Pronator Quadratus, I want to take my right hand, little pinky, and I want to take it in toward my sternum. So that is supination. Now to stretch the Pronator Quadratus, we need a big component of supination and wrist flexion. So when I push my wrist down like that, that is wrist flexion. So bring the little finger in toward the sternum, take the free hand, use the fingers, and grab below the thumb. Put your other thumb on the back of the palm. So what I'm going to be doing with this free hand is I'm going to be pushing my wrist into flexion. So again, little finger against the sternum, grab the fingers below the thumb, other thumb on the back of the palm, and now I want to push my wrist. I'm going to start at my sternum, and I'm going to push my wrist down toward my belly button. And what that does, that increases the flexion of my hand. Now to increase the supination, very simply, all you have to do is push the elbow forward. So I'm pushing my elbow toward the camera. Now, I want you to hold the stretch for 30 seconds, and while you're holding the stretch, I want you to breathe with a certain cadence. I want you to inhale for 2 seconds, I want you to hold for 2 seconds, and I want you to breathe out for 4 seconds. And during the breathe out, you can drop the wrist down further, and you can gently push the elbow further forward. So again, hold that for 30 seconds and then switch sides. Again, do the left side. Now bring the little pinky in toward the sternum, grab the wrist, drop the wrist down toward the belly button, and if I want more of a stretch, push the elbow away. So again, do 1 to 3 times on each side. This would be very important to do before you play your instrument and after you play your instrument to prevent overuse injuries. So if you're a musician or if you're someone that's experiencing carpal tunnel-like symptoms into your hand and would like a different opinion, you can always contact the office at 954-566-0585. You can also reach us on the web at hellmanholistichealth.com. And you know our motto, it's better body, better life.